Hey everybody, it's Jennifer Weitzman with Benchmark. So today it's going to be story time, and we're going to be talking about fair housing and steering and agency and how, as a realtor, I can help you find the house you want and really take direction from you to answer your questions and get you where you want to be. So first, I want to just talk about the word agency. It's someone who does work for someone else or goes between two parties for someone else. So a lot of times, other agents, I haven't heard this myself, but get this question: who lives in this neighborhood? My response would be people who like the houses and can afford it. Because I don't know who lives in the neighborhood. And even if I do, I have to be careful about sharing certain things with you. But I can be the source of the source and help you find out what you want to know about neighborhoods. So these are some things that can get agents into difficulty, and quite frankly, have gotten agents into difficulty, even when they were trying to be helpful to their clients. It's not in fair housing, you can't discriminate against someone based on race, religion, color, gender, disability, family status, or national origin. And everybody always thinks discrimination as keeping somebody from somewhere, but it's also steering. What we're talking about today is pushing somebody to somewhere too. And some of them, well, I'll just read you some examples. It'll be easier that way. So if you said, hey, this house would be perfect for you. There's so many children who live in the area. Well, that goes to family status, so it's a violation. Or let's say that you have told me that you go to a particular religious building nearby. And I say, oh, this is great. It's just a few minute drive, or you can walk. Well, first of all, if I say it's a few minutes drive to such and so religious establishment, that could be a violation of religion. If I say you could walk to such and so, then it could be a difficulty with you not being able to walk. So here's another example for you. Let's say that I'm helping clients, and hey Rick, hey Lance, they have a 3-year-old child who is hearing impaired. And I am showing them homes that meet their criteria, and I show them one on a nice quiet cul-de-sac. And the couple days later, they're like, hey, you didn't show us this house over here, like in Spring Hill. Maybe it's on Buckner Road or Duplex Road. And they're like, it meets all our criteria. Why didn't you show it to us? And the reason I didn't show it to them, trying to be a helpful agent, was because their child's hearing impaired, and I know that that's a busy road. Now, that might be a great thing. They might not want to live there. But I made a decision based on their disability situation, and so I violated fair housing there. So if you do have concerns about what you want in a neighborhood or to be near, you can tell me, but I can't tell you. So when we were moving here from Ohio, and when I help people relocating, a lot of times we hear, I want good schools. Okay, good schools is subjective. What is good schools to you? So what I suggest to my clients is, you know the schools in your area. Go to greatschools.com or School Digger. I can give you a whole list of websites that compare and rate schools. Look up the ones that you know from firsthand experience or from your friends, and look at their ratings and what they have that you like. And then look at the schools in areas that you were considering looking at in Tennessee and see which schools would meet your needs. And then you can say to me, hey, Jennifer, I'd like to be at Main Street Elementary, but I don't want to be at High Street Elementary. And these don't even exist. I'm making these names up, okay? So you can tell me that. The other thing I hear a lot is, I want to be in a safe neighborhood. Okay, safe is again relative. I have reasons that I feel pretty safe most places that I go. But if you're concerned about something, there are crime statistic websites that I can give you. And you can call the responding agency in whatever area that you're looking and say, hey, do you make a lot of calls? I'm looking at a house at 123 Main Street. Do you make a lot of calls nearby here? Or there's a house over here that I'm a little concerned about. And have you had to make calls here? Now, crime can happen everywhere. You can have murders, you can have robberies, you can have car break-ins, you can have domestic violence everywhere. But it's up to you to tell me what threshold and what areas you do or don't want to be in. The other great way to find out areas that you like or might not like is drive through them on a weekday evening, on a weekend evening. See what the feel of the neighborhood is. You know, maybe it's a bedroom community where everybody's gone and commutes during the week, but on the evenings and the weekends, there's just cars up and down the street, and that's not what you want to do. So you can look and feel the neighborhood that way. The other thing that's a great thing to do is go out to lunch or dinner on the weekend, preferably, and see what the little restaurants are like, especially if it's a small town. Go through the grocery stores. See, are these the kind of people that you want? You can tell me, I cannot tell you. So if you guys all remember Harper Valley PTA, that was kind of the problem. They did not want single female living there. That's the other thing too. Let's say I'm looking for a house. I'm a single female and I'm not an agent. And the agent says, gosh, Jen, this house might be a little bit too much for you to handle as a single female. Well, first of all, they might not know me too well. If you've seen, I've been replacing a fence. Not that I care to do all that work, but they shouldn't make a decision for me based on that. So it's really important for you to know what is important to for you in a home and for you to tell an agent. And like I said, the ones that get popped the most are honestly family status. There was an agent here in Middle Tennessee, and they got out of the car. They're standing out the street. There's a Ring doorbell on the house. It's recording. It's got great audio. And the parents say, you know, we have kids, and we'd really like them to be able to, you know, just walk next door and play with kids or walk across the street. Are there a lot of kids in the neighborhood? Well, that seems like a pretty simple question, but the agent answered it and said, yeah, there's kids everywhere. Well, that went to family status, because you just can't infringe on these. So I told you I'd tell you another story. My mom had a good friend, single female, back in the late 70s, and this is up in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. And she was at the closing table, and the agent handed her her keys, because we used to pass keys at the table. And she goes, I think you'll feel very comfortable here as a single female. It's very safe. Okay, well, right there, you've gone against crime. And the reason that crime is something that agents can't discuss is because, first of all, it's subjective, but it can also borderline infringe on some of the other categories that you can't cross in fair housing. And then she turns to the lady and says, and you'll be very happy to know that there are no Jewish people in this neighborhood. Well, my mom's friend was Jewish, and she looked at the agent and she goes, well, there are now. That could have been a huge situation. Nobody should ever assume what you do or don't want based on any of these things. But like I said, you know, in speaking to certain religious communities, there are certain towns that have, you know, synagogues where you can't walk more than a certain distance. And so you have to tell your agent, I need to be in this walkable area. Again, you can tell your agent that. Your agent can't tell you that. You have to be able to do that research. So it's really important for you to tell your agent what it is that's important to you and ask them for resources to be able to determine where you find that, whether it's a close proximity to a school, that you want kids for your kids to be able to play with in the neighborhood, or maybe you're going out on Broadway every weekend and you don't want kids playing on the cul-de-sac at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning, waking you up because you want to sleep in, or you work night shift or whatever, or that you need to have a certain level of safety comfort. And where do you find that information? So, hey, Karen. Hey, Rob, didn't see you coming on there too. So if anybody has questions, I know we've got a few people on here. I'll try and answer those. Yeah, I am the real deal. I'm very strict on ethics because I don't want anyone being judged by anyone else. It's just not fair play. So if anybody has any questions, they can message me. They can ask them here. But sometimes if your agent's being kind of closed-lipped about things, that might be why. They're looking out for yours and their best interest. So that's about all for today. Next week, we're going to talk about the last week of fair housing. but it's going to be on the seller side and how we can advertise and what words we can use when we're trying to get your house sold for you. So until then, I will wrap up by letting you know our stats. We're still super busy. In fact, I'm crazy busy. Murray County, these are only residential sales in some of the counties that I work most. So Murray County had 44 new homes come on the market, 64 went under contract, 35 closed. Williamson County had 161 come on the market, 192 went under contract, 83 closed. Wilson County had 81 come on the market, 103 went under contract, 53 closed. Davidson had 298 come on the market, 339 went under contract, 168 closed. Rutherford County had 134 come on the market, 229 under contract, 116 closed. Marshall County had 11 come on the market, 11 went under contract, and 6 closed. Rates are really good right now still. The prices of homes are stabilized. They're not skyrocketing. We do actually have somewhat of a short supply of listings, even though we've had some come on, obviously. We have, I think, more buyers starting to look now that the furloughs are lifting and everybody's kind of getting back in the groove after being locked down. So if you're looking to buy or sell, do give me a shout. Happy to help you, or send me a message and we'll set up a listing appointment. I think I've got 2 listing appointments this week and a couple buyers appointments, so definitely busy times. Y'all take care, and I will see you next Tuesday.